Okay, everybody. So we are going to have another pre-Shabbat message, a nice, short, but pointed idea that I think can take us a long way and really kind of represents the essence of what we should be thinking about, both on the global perspective and in the next 24, 25 hours of Shabbat. So first of all, I would like to start by saying that Yehi Ratzon, that this class should be a Refuat Shlema for Aharon ben Gitty, one of our close people to us. Yishak ben Haim as well. He should have Refuat Shlema, and Rachamim ben Katrine Rivkah. They should all have a speedy recovery, and we should hear great news soon. We're going to talk about a little bit about Shabbat. Okay, coming close to Shabbat, pre-message about Shabbat. I'm going to talk about the following point. I always get asked from students when they have a child, I know, what name should I call? Because a name has a lot of significance, okay? There's always this even book written, what's in a name? What significance does a name have? So the name of something is effectively its essence. When the Torah calls something, it's because it reflects its essence, okay? And I can go through different body parts, why they're called. Oznaim, in Hebrew, la'azin means equilibrium, shinaim, right? Teeth, l'shanen means to do over and over again. But the name of, because the mouth does the same thing, okay? And so on and so forth. A kelev, a dog is called a kelev because it's kulo lev. It's all heart, essentially, right? It sees its owner, it gets so excited. The name of something represents its essence. Now, moving forward with that, when Am Yisrael was coming out of Egypt, when it's time to take Am Yisrael out of Egypt, so Moshe Rabbeinu turns to God, and after being commanded, take the Jewish people out, and Moshe Rabbeinu says, okay, I'll go redeem Am Yisrael, I get it, fine, but when they ask me, what's your name, what should I say? What do you mean, what should you say? What's your name? What's the difference, what name? I'm telling you, go take my people out, go take them out. No, when they ask me, what is your name exactly, what name should I say? So God says, right, which represents was, is, and will be, all at the same time, right? Because God is completely above the whole idea of time. Time is a creation. That was the whole point of Einstein's theory of relativity. That time is actually relative to where you are. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, well, Am Yisrael is not going to grasp that right now. Was, is, and will be at the same time. What's another name? So God says, okay, you're right. Tell them that the God of Abraham, Yishak, Yaakov is going to take them out. That's the name you should use. Rabbeinu says, okay, that name they understand. That idea they understand. Because Abraham, Yishak, Yaakov are people that we could relate to, that went through trials and tribulations. That name we're going to use. And that's how it proceeded. Interestingly enough, further on the point of names, the Zohar says that one of the names of God is actually Shabbat. The Zohar says in Chelek Bet, the Zohar says one of the names of God is actually Shabbat. What does that mean? What is Shabbat? What does the word Shabbat mean? Shabbat, lashevet, means to sit, to rest. Okay? So when we say that, what's the depth of when we say that one of the names of God is actually Shabbat, to rest? It means that on Shabbat itself unites with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and it's naturally prone to create a situation of rest. But rest, when we say rest, we don't just mean physically. Yes, it is physical because we don't turn on lights, we don't create, as we spoke about in last week's message, right? But Shabbat, on the day of Shabbat, is also prone to spiritual rest, to emotional rest, to intellectual rest. What does that mean? What is rest? What place does rest have in our life? Rest itself is very interesting. It doesn't appear in any other place. How does it work? A person works hard an entire day, and then he comes to at night, he puts his head down on the pillow, he wakes up a few hours later and he's completely rejuvenated. Okay, imagine, car needed some work by the mechanic, you drove it to the mechanic, he parked it, you picked it up 8 hours later, and then all of a sudden it was fixed. That doesn't happen anywhere else. Okay, just by standing still, just by resting. But rest has the power physically, emotionally, mentally to give us a new start. So when we say that God's name is Shabbat, one of God's name is rest, that means that when we set up Shabbat correctly, right? So it unites us with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we're able to get not just the physical rest, but an emotional rest, another recharge to be able to handle the week correctly. So going into this Shabbat, we have to pay attention to some of the details that we're commanded to do: candlelighting, kiddush, hamotzi, prayer, and so on and so forth. They're meant to spur us to be able to take on the next week. And it pertains so much in these times when we're all looking and kind of even grasping for something that can give us that continuous message of strength. We don't know how long we're going to be in this situation. Okay, at least let's pay attention and make sure to be mentally, emotionally, and physically strong. So here that's on that we use Shabbat correctly in our own way. Every person finds their place, and it should be a zechut. It should be a place for us to be able to get true rest, true rejuvenation, true emotional, physical rest. Amen. See you